Hull taking on Leeds in a repeat of last year's Challenge Cup final in the Engage Super League. A final that produced Hull's first cup win for 23 years and provided coach John Keir with a very proud moment. And John Keir will be watching from home tonight because on Monday of this week the club decided that his contract would not be renewed next year, and John Keir and Hull parted company. But the Leeds Rhinos, they've lost just once in 2006, and their win at Lee in the Cup last weekend, the fifth round tie at Headingley against Rochdale Hornets, and with all due respect to the Hornets, a passage, I think, into the last eight. Hull will line up like this: Motu Tony at fullback, Briscoe is injured, Rayner, Domick, Yeaman and Dixon, it's Paul Cook and Richard Horne. The forwards: Dowes, Swain, who returns to the team as captain, and Carvel, Radford, Hill and Chester. And the bench for the Black and Whites occupied tonight by Whiting, Brough, Thackeray and Wheeldon. And the caretaker coach filling John Keir's boots is Richard Agar. Now the Rhinos: Mathers at fullback, Donald, Walker, Senior and Smith, Maguire and Burrow. The forwards: Feather, Diskin and Peacock, poaching Ellis and Kevin Sinfield, who's the captain and loose forward. And on the bench it's Bailey, Lauatiti, Millard and Scruton. The coach is Tony Smith. Well, they remain on course for a third Challenge Cup final appearance in 4 years. They are second in the Super League table, so a third grand final in a row is a distinct possibility as well. And they have won all 4 previous visits to this ground, and by coincidence our cameras have witnessed each and every one of them. Well, it all changed this week for John Keir after winning one of the last 6 in the League and Cup. He walked away. It's not the first time that this game has been surrounded by a coaching controversy. Hull's only Super League victory at Headingley in 2001 coincided with Dean Lance's farewell to the Leeds Rhinos. There's a lot of responsibility on the shoulders of these players tonight. Beaten 46-0 here 2 weeks ago, Hull looked long odds to end a 10-game run without a victory against the Leeds Rhinos. They have to go back to March 2002 for the last Super League success against Leeds, Keith Senior and company. And a terrific travelling army of Rhinos have journeyed here to the KC Stadium from Headingley to witness this match. Cracking atmosphere as it always is here, just waiting for Hull to emerge from the dressing room. Their first ever Super League home defeat against St Helens 2 weeks ago. Now will we witness a first KC victory against Leeds? The Hull supporters hope so. And what a night it is for Hull, their supporters, their players, and in particular their young caretaker coach, Richard Agar, who has prepared the team. He says he doesn't want the job full-time. He is joined in that by Steve McNamara, who has said that he has turned it down, and so the search continues for John Keir's successor. Carl Kirkpatrick is the referee. Cracking atmosphere, Steve-O, despite the turmoil.
Certainly is. Looking forward to it, and I'm sure that you people at home will be looking to see whether Hull can bring back that pride. As Eddie has mentioned, a lot of turmoil this particular week. It's down to the players. Can they do it?
Gets us underway, a high hanging kickoff. Underneath it, Danny Maguire. Here is Jamie Peacock. There will be loads of enthusiasm from Hull early on, you can guarantee that. But I remember we were here a fortnight ago and there was against St Helens in the first 20 minutes. It was just like this, magnificent. But can they keep it up this week?
They've got to make sure that their forwards at least match the Leeds 6. The Rhinos are very strong, especially in the 3 quarters. They can't allow the 2 halfbacks, Maguire and Burrow, any room to move. They're doing that pretty solid now. They're going up as one unit. That's what they've got to do for the full 80, but they can't allow Burrow to run like that.
Burrow gets the pass away to Danny Maguire, but he is grounded by to number Richard Hall, and the ball in the arms of Kevin Sinfield, who hoofs it downfield. It's not the best kick, but it spiraled away from Motu Tony. He knocked it back towards his own post, but well, that was a good kick in the end.
Got plenty of height, but more to the point, it was a very good chase. You saw a quick shot of Richard Agard then. He's got a good pedigree, his father Alan Agard, tremendous player and of course a wonderful coach. And I'm sure he's done the right thing by not stepping in and saying he wants to take charge here. He wants to be on the learning curve just like Steve McNamara.
First penalty to Hull.
Good start for Hull, isn't it? They needed that for their confidence. One of the things they've been looking at is to be a bit more dangerous around the play of the ball area, and having Richard Swain in the squad, in fact, did he drop it? Maybe a bit of fortune goes in the black and white favour, but still they're cut to touch. They're now on attack inside Leeds half, and again Richard Swain perhaps a key tonight. Hull's chances.
Bristling atmosphere here at the KC Stadium. This match being watched live all over the world, including our friends in New Zealand via Sky TV down there in New Zealand, and a group of Scottish Rugby League supporters eagerly watching the screens tonight. A big contingent of them down under and keeping tabs. They're all on tour and they're watching this action unfold as Paul Cook attacks the Leeds line. He gets the ball to Motu Tony, and Tony just dropped the shoulder.
Pretty good defence by Leeds there, but a nice switch to the blind side from Hull.
Paul Cook, it's a long pass, it goes on the bounce to Rayner. Rayner with the first try for Hull. It was a beautiful cutout pass wide from Paul Cook, and Gareth Rayner, the man who left Leeds for Hull 5 years ago, who scored the vital try in the cup final just after half-time in Cardiff, has come up with the first points of this match at the KC Stadium tonight.
Well, that was the second time that they utilised a blindside, and right on this wonderful movement. He just stood there, you could see the winger was completely confused. This is the interference here. He didn't drop it, it certainly got the penalty right. Kirkpatrick got it spot on, but you can see there the inexperience of Scott Donald. He really came off the line. He thought that he was the sender going to take it, and it wasn't. It was Gareth Rayner. What a start. Barrow tried everything.
Well, again, won't surprise you, Hull love to go to their left-hand side. Most teams score tries down the middle of the field, but if you look at the 10 tries, other than the ones in the centre of the field, it's 9-1 in favour of their left-hand side. They continue 3 times in that set, coming to the left side through Cook, Yeaman, and that time it was Rayner.
And Cook to try and add the extras, which he does. It is a dream start for the Black and Whites. Hull ahead by 6 points to 0. Gareth Rayner with the try. His last try at home was last August against Wigan. Fantastic start for Gareth Rayner, the former Leeds man, and the Black and Whites of Hull. Brian Noble, what a start.
I think Scott Donald's got the read slightly wrong there on the short side, as you quite rightly called, and it's just the start that Hull needed. It gave them a great deal of confidence. Now they need to knock off another set and try to get to the other end of the field.
Another little fumble from the kick downfield. The kick-off this time by Leeds, and Richard Hall managed to hang on. Here is Richard Swain. He gives it to Lee Radford, the England international who won the Cup against Leeds in 2003 while at Odsall, and Bradford and Brian Noble. That was Ewan Dowes who got the ball away. Quick play the ball, and Richard Swain. Richard Swain gets the ball away again. Wakefield are ahead against Wigan by 6 points to 0 after 3 minutes. This, meanwhile, is Kirk Yeaman here, keeping you in touch tonight with all the other games taking place in the Engage Super League and some very interesting matches.
Eddie, there's another advantage that Richard Swain brings to the side. He's able to kick accurately from the acting half-back position. All the players on side and straight up there. They follow up that chase very well. Kick and chase has been a big part of Hull's success for the last 2 or 3 years. When they see that enthusiasm in players firing downfield to get on the Leeds player, you know they're going well.
This is Gareth Ellis, meanwhile, for the Leeds Rhinos. He has won 2 Great Britain caps here on this ground against New Zealand in 2004 and Australia last November, Gareth Ellis. So likes the place. That should be a penalty, shouldn't it?
Well, they certainly had the arms inside. They tried to lift Ellis there, ignored by the official.
Chris Feather now.
What a great start from Hull. They've got plenty of defence. They make sure they've got the score, though they're tracking back.
This is Ellis, Gareth Ellis, wrestled to the ground.
That should have been a penalty.
Sinfield drifts the ball back inside. Diskin tried to get it away, but couldn't. The kick wasn't conclusive. Burrow had hold of it, but the referee orders the turnover.
Yeah, the ball played the man. Diskin tried desperately to get through it. You could see there quite clearly that Gareth Carvell didn't go for it. Now it's important that the black and whites just steady themselves down. The reaction from the crowd here is tremendous, but they've got to make sure they get back into some sort of a pattern. Don't get too excited just by the fact that they've scored 6 points.
You know, there have been 20 instances of a coach leaving a team in mid-season over the last 5 years, and there have only been 7 wins first up for the new man. So at the moment, Hull are bucking the trend. Mathers, but it's only 7 minutes of the game gone.
Oh, great stuff. Good field position. They're making a point. And that man with the tackle, Paul Cook, he's a key man for this black and white side.
Good tackling there by Danny Hill. And here is Jamie Peacock, the Great Britain captain in the Tri-Nation Series last year. Diskin at dummy half. Maguire fires the pass to Poaching. Poaching then, out wide it goes to Lee Smith. An outstanding young player, Smith, but great defence from Hull. Keith Senior at dummy half, on the last tackle here. And the ball goes straight up in the air off the boot of Maguire. And then it bounces back. And Mathers gives it to Scott Donald. And Donald has got Chev Walker with him. And Walker gets the ball away to Maguire. And Maguire will score for the Rhinos. That is a quite magnificent try for the Leeds. And a wonderful effort from Danny Maguire. He is back to his best in 2006, this young man. The leading try scorer in the Super League by a country mile. That's try number 12. He now only needs 3 for 100 with the Leeds Rhinos. Danny Maguire's put Leeds back in the match.
Well, it all came from the high kick, and there's one thing that you tell youngsters to do: never allow the ball to bounce, and that's what Hull did. Not one person wanted to put themselves about to get to it, and Leeds realised that they were just caught napping on the inside. Beautiful back play. Wonderful play by this guy. Talk about being in form. The leading try scorer. Why on earth Hull decided to just hang back? You don't do that against any team, never mind a team as talented as the Rhinos. Super work from Walker, and what a finish from Maguire.
Well, they prodded and poked across the field, playing with width on that 5th play, and then the kick eventually. Leeds probably more dangerous than any other side when the ball goes to ground. They read and react to situation better than most, and they've got the pace to take advantage of it.
Well, Danny Maguire very much back to his best in 2006, and Sinfield's boot has levelled the scores here at the KC Stadium. Hull 6, Leeds 6.
Look at this, anybody want it? NO! What does it result in? TRY. Very, very poor play. Take nothing away from the Rhinos. They realised it was on. It was a power play. OK, they got the bounce, but Hull should have nullified it.
Eddie, I wonder if Hull are aware that Leeds are the best team so far at scoring back-to-back tries in Super League this season. 6 times so far, scored a try, got the kick-off, and in the next minute put another one on the board.
Just a slight interruption in play as the ball falls off the kicking tee for Paul Cook. And here we go again right now. This is the first meeting for Leeds against Hull since they lost in Cardiff last August. They lost by just a point. It was a stunning upset as Leeds were unbeaten in 11 previous meetings against the Black and Whites, and here they had a penalty Leeds because Hull not standing square, the markers immediately behind each other at the play the ball.
It was a problem that Hull had last season. They just got their opposition into a very tight area, and then they just lose concentration. One man moving in that second marker position. So important to keep down the opposition in that quarter, and they just give it away. That's a high. Yeah, went for the grapple tackle, right into the mush. Chester doesn't like it.
Top 4 meeting at Salford, and St Helens just 4 up against Harlequins. And Wakefield leading Wigan 18 points to 0.
They always start like that, don't they, Eddie?
Well, yes. 21-0 up against Warrington a couple of weeks ago, 22-6 against Wigan in the Cup last week, and they lost. Can Tony Smith and his team hang on this time? They are ahead 18-0. You know, this game has been so quick. We haven't heard from Dave Hadfield. We will see what happens from this set of 6 for Leeds, and we'll get down to him in a moment. Dave Hadfield, who on behalf of the gentlemen of the press will name the man of the match at the end of the game, and it will be someone from Leeds, but maybe not. That was a little over elaborate, and Lee Smith just couldn't take the pass. He just moved inside.
Yeah, just made the decision at the split moment. It was a wrong one. Nothing away from the ability, though, of the Leeds skipper Kevin Sinfield. Beautiful run around. Half smile on the face of their coach Tony Smith.
He knows it would have been an absolutely blistering try if they'd have scored it. Right, down to Dave Hadfield on the press benches. Dave?
A hectic start, as you say, Eddie. We really think there's 2 very significant returns tonight. Hull have missed Richard Swain so badly, both for his starch in defence, his organisation and the play of the ball. He'll be a key man if Hull are going to do anything tonight. Chev Walker's missed the last 2 for Leeds. He was playing so well before that, and his matchup with Kirk Yeaman should be a highlight tonight. We've already seen some of Chev Walker's quality in setting up that try for Danny Maguire.
OK, we'll hear from Dave again with around about 5 or 10 minutes of the match to go. Wonder who will be going home with the Gillette Sports Pack this evening as man of the match. And that's a good tackle on Gareth Carvell, the Welsh international. Drive forward here by Ewan Dowes, one of a host of former Leeds players. He's been a great capture for Hull, though, as Ewan Dowes. Now it's Carvell again.
Good play by Hull as well. They're utilising the forwards. They're not panicking.
Good ball, Motu Tony back on the inside to Kirk Yeaman.
Again, a great tackle by Ellis. Gave away a silly penalty downfield. He's trying to make up it for that. It's a high one.
It is. It's high from the boot of Paul Cook, and it's palmed forward. It's a knock-on against Leeds. Danny Maguire will be brought back.
He thought he was away for another try. Well, he throws that ball away, does Danny Maguire, after he's made that run, and it's the same referee that penalised Colin Halpenny for doing exactly the same thing. And I think that's why we got a wry smile on the man with the whistle. He could have.
Well, if he did it last week, he should have.
Yeah.
Here is Yeaman, Hull with a chance, and Yeaman, a wonderful run and a fantastic try from Kirk Yeaman. Well, the decision from Carl Kirkpatrick was correct. Danny Maguire was away up the other end, but he was brought back, and Kirk Yeaman has come up with it. Great play at the end of the first move from the base of the scrum. What a try from Kirk Yeaman. Looking for a big game tonight against Keith Senior and Chev Walker if he's to push for Tri-Nations inclusion, and this is a bright moment for the young man.
Well, it can be ironic, can't it? The situation before which led to Maguire's try was that Hull didn't go for it. Leeds did come up with a knock-on from the resulting scrum. This is beautiful play. That is outstanding work from Yeaman. The way that he just shimmies. Watch this. Beautiful stuff. Through the dummy. Fend. You can't ask for much more than that. Boy, is he happy. So's the crowd.
Wonderful try from Kirk Yeaman, only 22 years of age. 9 tries now. Just 1 try in his last 4 appearances. And Richard Agar, well, he will be delighted with that. They started so well, then they conceded the try to the Rhinos that levelled the scores, and they have just come up with a brilliant try down the left-hand side from Kirk Yeaman. So Paul Cook, who kicked one off the touchline to convert Gareth Rayner's try, this time has missed. He just scuffed his boot, I think, as he made contact with that ball. But Hull lead 10-6.
Beautiful. Look at the eyes looking at Walker. He knows and he thinks he's going to get it. Look how Walker just hesitated. Donald had to go in, keep out wide. He couldn't go in before. Boy, is he happy.
And Steve, you know, he came up with a couple of defensive mistakes last week in the Challenge Cup game that cost his side tries. But what is a good point is how he's responded to that. Come out in a determined fashion, showing that he wants to make up for that.
Leeds have hit the kick-off out on the fall. It will be a penalty to Hull on halfway. But it's not a breezy night. Kevin Sinfield has just got the direction slightly wrong there. It was only about 7, 8, 9 inches maybe, but penalty nonetheless, right on halfway. Brian Noble, a word about Kirk Yeaman. He's an outstanding young prospect.
Absolutely, and we saw terrific offensive play there. We not only saw the in and out on Chev Walker, Kevin Sinfield got back to him and he gave him the old see you later, that round rod of a fend. I think one of the pertinent points that Phil makes, he did make a couple of defensive errors last week against Bradford, but he was on a side of the field he wasn't used to. He played on the right last week, and I think he's far more comfortable on the left side tonight.
Hull looking here now to increase the lead. High Harlequins are ahead at St Helens. 6-4, a quarter of an hour gone. Here we're a little bit ahead of them, and it's Hull who are looking for a third try, and that's St Dominic.
He was going low.
Quick play the ball, it's with Richard Horn. He'll attack the line, Horn, then he'll float the pass out wide. That's wonderful defence. They've lost the momentum slightly. In fact, no, they haven't. I was going to say they've lost the ball. Motu Tony retains possession for his team.
Sinfield's down. Sinfield got an elbow in the face, I believe.
And this now is Danny Hill.
It was an accident. And the lead skipper is down in back play. Leeds down at 12 in action.
Last tackle. Cook slides the kick in. Oh, it's collected behind his own line. And wonderful play there from Lee Smith.
Boy, just in a moment there, Sinfield receiving treatment, but just for a moment there, you thought maybe the winger should have let it go.
I don't think it's an elbow in the face there. I think this is a knee. I think he's...
Oh, was it the knee? He got collided. I thought he got an elbow.
He's in real trouble.
Well, you're right, Eddie. His jaw's not that low.
Oh, he just collapses, doesn't he? He was...
Yeah, went under his... leg went underneath. Oof. That doesn't do the cartilage any good. No good at all. Let's hope that he's okay.
I don't think Lee Smith is very healthy at the moment either. The young winger who can also play at full back. He is the man who tidied up the kick into the in-goal area for Leeds, and as you can see, he is limping pretty heavily, and he's got a problem with the right ankle. So this is a little mini crisis for the Rhinos here.
I think there's more of a problem though with their skipper Kevin Sinfield. Tried to relieve him of the ball.
I think he got his ankle trapped right underneath the body of Gareth Carvel. And there's a stretcher sadly coming out for Kevin Sinfield.
That is a very sad sight to see.
This is a big blow. This is a big blow for Leeds and Kevin Sinfield.
Well, they've got to take that precaution just to ensure that...
He seemed to collapse, Steve, though, before the impact was made.
I think it was the leg went right underneath, and it certainly wouldn't have done the knee cartilage. This is the...
See, I think he's injured himself there before the tackle is made.
Yeah, it goes right underneath him. So look, can you see it? Yep.
Is it the ankle or is it the knee? Phil, Dr. Clark?
I'd say it's his right knee at this stage, and it's a similar position onto the field where Matt Diskin suffered a very serious knee injury whilst making his Great Britain debut back in the Tri-Nations, and we just hope that Kevin Sinfield isn't going to be out as long as Matt Diskin was then.
The most amazing thing, Phil, about, you know, in sport general, but especially in our game, when a player doesn't move, you generally feel that it is a very bad injury. There's none of this antics of rolling around as though he's been shot by an elephant gun or whatever. When someone goes down and then just stays there, they know in their own mind it is a bad injury.
Yeah, Kevin Sinfield won't stay down, well, he wants to get back up in the defensive line because he knows that's the duty and the expectation from his coach and his teammates. But
and look at the face on him. He knows that I think he has got a serious injury here.
He knows there's a problem.
Would you agree?
Absolutely, and it's sickening, isn't it? You know, historically in as many games as we've all seen, we don't like to see that, and he's a terrific competitor, Kevin, a meticulous pro, and you know what, he's a good bloke as well, and you just don't like to see that happening to good blokes. And
he is being given a round of applause, not only from the Leeds Rhinos fans, it must be said, but from every corner of this ground. The Hull supporters also just just before that shot, actually, to be fair, they were all up and they were applauding Kevin Sinfield as he left the field.
Well, the one thing I can always say about the Hull fans, they do know their rugby league and they do appreciate quality. And as Brian Noble has said, Kevin Sinfield has got plenty of quality.
Well, it's a blow, and it's a bigger blow for Wigan that they trail 22-0 after just 20 minutes of the first half. But it's a blow for Leeds, but maybe the blow tempered somewhat by the fact that it is Ali Lauatiti who comes on to replace Kevin Sinfield.
Well, there's plenty of fire in this Hull outfit, and you can see that in the opening 17 minutes. They really have got into the faces of this Leeds outfit. It's what they did at Cardiff in the Challenge Cup final.
The kick downfield wasn't terribly good from Burrow. Motu Tony running the ball back. Maguire rather gets to him with Matt Diskin. And Tony was looking for the penalty, not forthcoming. Here is Gareth Rayner.
Well, I often wonder, you know, it's a little bit like diving at soccer when someone tries to do that. I wonder when a referee is going to say, I'm going to get you for play acting. And that's what he was trying to do there.
Richard Swain flicks the ball back inside to Lee Radford. He's tackled by Feather and Diskin. Now it's Richard Swain again. Good tackle by Gareth Ellis. He's got through some work already early in this match.
He always
the last
does.
Tackle.
He always does, Eddie, but notice how Richard Swain is controlling things from dummy half.
Control kick. Control kick, and brilliantly taken.
At least from a Hull perspective, Eddie, they're playing in the right part of the field, and sadly against St Anne's when we last came here, that wasn't the case. After the opening 10 minutes when they really dug in, it was Saints all at their in the attacking half and the attacking free-flowing play that we saw from them. Well, Hull doing better here now, managing to contain this Leeds side, but just watch the power of the Leeds players in the tackle. Like we saw again at Harlequins a couple of weeks ago, it's that leg drive and strength in the collision that usually gets them out of the danger zone.
Here is Ellis once more. And Huddersfield leading Salford in the battle of the, dare I say it, unlikely top four, and that is a most unlikely scoreline, and that's even worse for Wigan. 24-0.
Well, the thing that surprised me about this game is the way that Leeds are utilising the kick. Okay, they got away with it with that beautiful high bomb, but I'm surprised that Tony Smith, their coach, hasn't put a lot of pressure on the young winger, Kirk Dixon. Not once have they tested him yet.
This is Jamie Thackeray. Oh, he thought about the offload to Richard Swain then. Thought better of it in the end. Swain then at dummy half finds Richard Horne. Ball is fed right to Chris Chester, and Chester gets it wide to Kirk Dixon, and Dixon down the line. Ball in field. Chester's not quick enough, and he's dropped it. Oh, but now then, this will be a decision. This will be a decision for the video referee. Dominic has scored.
Don't worry, it's a try. I reckon that ball went backwards. Well, Chester didn't have the legs. It's as though he just found about a ton of cement. Oh, that went forward.
But did it come off the arms of... Well, it actually, I don't know, does that count? Is Senior looking for the ball?
Is he involved in the tackle? This is a big one. At first off, Chester knew he didn't have... Now, he's not gone for the ball there. But does he go for the ball there? I think he does. I reckon this is going to be given. This will be TRY. And watch the crowd, they'll go bananas. Yep, that's play on. Senior has deliberately gone for the football, so it doesn't matter whether he goes forward, sideways or backwards. Dominic picks up the gift, and the black and whites have gone further ahead. Little doubt in my mind that Senior has deliberately gone for the ball, hoping perhaps that he will kid the video referee. I don't think he will. Bob Connolly it is.
The try is given to Sid Dominic. Keith Senior got to Chris Chester. Chester didn't have the pace. Dominic turned up in support and got over the line for the try. And Hull increased the lead.
Superb rugby league football. Straight out of the top. Draw is this one. Excellent stuff. Chester started it off. Senior knocked it. Dominic said, "We'll support." Watch this. What a dummy. Sucking the winger. See you later. Smith at nothing. Senior tried to do it. Dominic said, I'll take the 4. Hull are on fire.
And Paul Cook will add the extras. It's 16 points to 6. And Sid Domic's try, Paul Cook's conversion, means it's a happy place at the moment, the KC Stadium.
And it seems as though the confidence in this Hull camp is certainly growing now to take on the Leeds Rhinos on the outside and be able to go around them. Not many teams have done that so far this season. Deserved try. Lee Smith still seemed to be limping with that knock to his right leg.
Yes, and don't forget that Kevin Sinfield is off the field. Number 11 there, Ali Lauatiti, is the man who has replaced him. Sinfield injured. This is Cook. But I must say, Hull really do look full of it tonight.
Well, they're very confident, Eddie, and the fact is that they've had good field position. And when Leeds have got in a good area against Hull, their kicking game has been very poor.
I did, in fact, talking about Lee Smith and that leg injury, it appears that he's now left the field, and Chev Walker, I think, playing wide out on the left wing.
This is Richard Horne, tackled by Willie Poaching and Matt Diskin. Yeah, and there is Lee Smith. He's having the ankle iced. I've no doubt that Bill Arthur is the man on the spot there, and he will be keeping tabs on Lee Smith and the news of Kevin Sinfield. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. This is Richard Mathers.
Well, the only real opportunity for Leeds, they have picked up the points. That was when Maguire scored the try. But you've got to say that Hull fully deserved to have that 16-6 lead. They're in charge of this game. Leeds playing most of the match, well and truly in their own half.
Great offload from Peacock though to Diskin. He fires it wide to Senior, takes the return, keeps the movement going. Oh, great tackle by Paul Cook. Mathers, well, he was hit by a double-decker black and white bus then. Wonderful defence from the men in black and white from Hull. And the kick from Millard is poor into the arms of Matu Tony. The New Zealand international will run it back.
Well, I can't believe that Leeds have put themselves in a situation where Millard is doing the kicking. They've just lost all their composure.
This is Rayner. He goes inside Rob Burrow.
Do you know what? He is their best runner from dummy half. He needs maybe some of the Hull players to get close to him when he's running there, offering that pass play. Hard to pull down Gareth Raynor when he runs from that position. Bouncing around, difficult in the tackle. Been awarded a penalty for his efforts here now in trying to get up and play the ball quickly.
Let's get down to the sideline news of emergency ward 10, Leeds Rhinos. Bill.
Well, Lee Smith, it is a twisted ankle, as you saw just then. The news from Kevin Sinfield, though, could be a little better than first anticipated. Looked like a knee problem initially, but the word is that it's lower leg that he's twisted, and there is some sign of improvement. He's still being examined by the Leeds team doctor, but it doesn't look as bad as first feared for Kevin Sinfield.
That's good news, thanks, Bill. Here is Ewan Dowes.
Tremendous working of the inside pass. They're stretching Leeds' defence one way and then going on the blind, and they're doing it yet again.
They are. This is Danny Hill.
Nearly got an offload there.
And Yeeman, the dummy half. They've got 2 tackles in the bank here. Cook gets the ball then to Dowse.
A lot of running off the ball by this whole side. Dummy runners all over the place, coming on different angles. That makes it difficult for the defenders.
Cook fires the pass. Richard Horne wide. They go again. Dominic. Oh, great ball. Oh, and it's kept alive brilliantly. And again, wonderful. Paul Cook. Oh, sensational. Dominic is held underneath the post. Where has this form been over the past fortnight? Has Richard Agar simply waved a magic wand?
I think it's more than that, Eddie. We mentioned that we had a big build-up in regard to the fact, you know, were the players unhappy with John Keir? Well, on this performance, you'd have to say yes. I mentioned also in the build-up that maybe, and I'm sure that he had the ability to do it, Richard Agar has sat down with all the players and said, listen, if you don't like what's happening here, you tell us what you like. And this is what the result is. It's got to be. There's only one other way to say it.
And going back to that last play from Hull, 9 times out of 10 that would have been a try. I think we've got to give some credit to Leeds. Their defensive effort there, especially from Mathers, to keep them in the game at this stage. Big play after 25 minutes.
It was, Phil. We take our hats off to Richard Mathers and the Leeds defence, but boy, that was sensational play from Hull. It really was. Oh, and the kick's gone to ground.
I think Brian Noble might have a closer angle on it. That emotional level of rugby league, to get your team in the right emotional state is a difficult thing, I would imagine, as a coach.
Well, they've had some help this week, because a lot of people have pointed the bone at the here, there and everywhere. Are they getting a new coach? Is there any element of people being happy with what's gone on previously? And the only thing that the players can do is turn up to play. And emotionally, they should be very, very up for this project. Whichever way it goes, whether they get a new coach or inherent people staying there, and the things that were said about them, might not, you know, you get the opportunity to prove that people are wrong, basically.
I tell you what, I know that the hunt is on for John Keir's successor, but on the evidence of the first 26 and a half minutes we've seen here, why don't they just leave it with Richard Agar? I know he said he doesn't want it, but this has got to give the young man some terrific, fantastic hope for the future, for his own future.
Yeah, of course it is, but hang on, Eddie, we're only 27 minutes into this game. You're going back into your Lee Breers situation now. Lee Breers turns it on for 20 minutes and is in the Great Britain squad. Well, Brian's job's under threat, as far as you're concerned.
I didn't have him going to Australia next year in the build-up.
We shall wait and see.
3 tackles in this set of 6 gone. All I'm saying, Steve-O, is that this performance from Hull has not been evident over the past fortnight, at least that we know of.
Because the player power before is now being shown on the field of players. Brian Noble said there's a lot of respect that they want to say. They didn't want to lose and get hammered tonight.
It's a miscued kick, but it might actually come up, strangely enough. No, it doesn't. Dominic.
Good positioning by Dominic there.
Yes, he just managed to get to that ball before Willie poaching.
Pretty an important period now for Hull. Can they just have that wherewithal, make sure that they share the work, get the forwards just driving through? They know that Leeds a little bit wobbly. They're all at sea, no one out there, especially with the fact that there's skipper Kevin Sinfield is off the field of play. No one seems to have taken over that responsibility, and they certainly need somebody.
Last tackle here for Hull. And it's with Richard Horn.
That's a great kick.
It will turn Chev Walker around. Chev Walker, who has reportedly been looked at by Bath Rugby Union or the Gold Coast in Australia. His future is under some speculation.
They've lifted the pace here, Leeds, Eddie. They've lifted it here. Those 3 tackles in there. They're asking the question of Hull, can you live with us if we play this game a little bit quicker?
This is Shane Millard. Missed the cup title last week. The super sub of the Super League is Millard. That's a great little pass again. Here's Maguire. Oh, here's Maguire yet again. Second try of the match for Danny Maguire. Sensational play, wonderful pass, short ball. As Phil Clark said, Leeds upped the ante visibly. Can Hull match it with them? Well, when Danny Maguire's out there, maybe not.
Sensational game this. Both sides are putting on a real treat. Absolutely superb offload, and look at him go. That's the sign of a champion. No hesitation whatsoever. Peacock's offload, bang. Look at that, he's got his eyes now into the corner. There's only one thing on his mind, and it's TRY. Boy, this is a classic. Beautiful. What about the offload? He will look to see the position of the oncoming traffic. And then the corner. I have my eyes set on that try line. Tremendous. Outstanding game. The best I've seen so far this year.
Well, here's the try tracker. It's an intelligent try, this one. Danny Maguire knows that one of the best offloaders in the game is James Peacock. You get on the outside of him and you're going to have some fun, especially with the pace that Maguire has. You could see from the kick reception, as soon as they picked it up, there were 3 quick play the balls, and on the back of that, Hull weren't able to readjust and get in position.
Great try, out wide, Rob Burrow, first conversion attempt. Oh, how's that? How's that from Rob Burrow? 16 points to 12. The lead is reduced. Maguire and Burrow, the double act for the Rhinos. Magnificent try from this fellow. 13 now. He's 2 away from that magical 100 for Leeds.
Well, I called on someone in the Leeds colours to stand up and be counted and take the responsibility of losing their skipper, Kevin Sinfield. And you'd have to point at the former Bradford player, Jamie Peacock. Came up with a move there, Brian Noble. It was sensational.
Absolutely terrific. And Jamie Peacock's been terrific at that for Bradford for years. I think he's lifted the Leeds team there. I think a couple of carries before he dragged a few people forward and found his front. And if you don't cover his runners, he's going to get that ball away and embarrass you. Terrific, terrific play from Jamie.
How good a signing has he been already this year for the Rhinos? Jamie Peacock, fantastic.
Superb, without a doubt, and that's the reason why they moved quite a lot of earth to make sure that he did go to Leeds. Tony Smith is no fool. I'm sure that Brian Noble would have loved to have kept him, but that's another story.
They're still waiting, Eddie, aren't they, for the other big gun in the forwards, Mark O'Neill, to actually get out and show us what he can do here on Sky Sports.
Yes, Mark O'Neill, by the way, will be our guest at the Saints Wigan game over Easter. We've got a huge programme coming up for you over Easter. More about that later on in the programme, but Mark O'Neill confirmed as our guest at Knowsley Road on Good Friday to watch Saints against Wigan.
Well, again, we're seeing Shane Millard in that unusual position of kicking on that short blind side, a little bit too strong. Obviously is being told by Tony Smith, his coach, but it's a little bit baffling to say the least.
Hull with just one home victory out of 3 so far this year, but leading with about 7 minutes to go to half-time. This is Wheeldon. Oh, the ball bounced but went backwards, and Danny Hill is able to retain possession for his side as Rayner.
He's impressed with that, Danny Hill, running out wide in amongst the centres, as most second rowers do.
There's Wheeldon, and it's Danny Brough at dummy half. Finds Richard Horn. Goes wide again to Chris Chester. Tackled by Willie Poaching on the last. Domick was the dummy half this time. It's with Richard Horn. It's a good kick. It's a tester, but it's brilliantly flicked back to Yeeman. Oh, and it's Mathers again who comes up with the tackle. How about the play from Rayner? How about that from Gareth Rayner? And how about the tackle? How about this tackle from Richard Mathers?
Unbelievable. The Cumberland throw finished him off.
Saved 2 tries in the last few minutes, hasn't he, Mathers? It's amazing. You wouldn't have backed him there to stop Yeeman.
But what about the work from Rayner? Unbelievable. He's having a top game. There isn't a bad player on the park. Simple as that.
Well, Salford's bubble doesn't look like it's bursting in the match against Huddersfield, and surely tonight Wakefield cannot surrender 32-6 lead against Wigan. But we shall see. This match is a much tighter affair than the one at Bellevue, and it's with Willie Poaching for Leeds on the last tackle.
That was ripped out there by Dixon. Poaching did well just to smother it.
Rob
Again,
Burrow
not the best kick.
No, good position from Gareth Rayner. Half-time in the match at Bellevue. Wakefield 32-6 up. Salford beating Huddersfield, and last time we heard St Helens were beating Harlequins, but only just here at the KC Stadium. 16-12 to Hull, and we've got 5 minutes to half-time, and Thackeray is pulled down by Senior. Danny Brough waits at dummy half, just over the halfway line. Richard Horn, he is Richard Whiting. Good ball out the back door to Domick. Domick finds Richard Horn. They're swarming forward in support. It's Domick again, and Domick is eventually clattered to the ground by Millard. Brough, the dummy half, he finds Richard Horn, looping past to Paul Cook. It's wide to Yeeman. Here is Rayner. Oh, great try from Rayner. His second for Hull. Well, we've seen wonderful tries at both ends of the field, and that's as good as anything we've seen. Hull stretched them from one side of the field to the other, and Gareth Rayner, he left Leeds 5 years ago. He's haunting them tonight.
Superb linking ability of this whole outfit, and the finishing is superb by Rayner. I'm in dreamland. I love this game. It's the greatest game of all. I keep telling you that. And how can you deny me that when you see rugby league football as good as this? This is outstanding. They are testing their arm, they're testing their skills. Both sides are producing something short of sensational.
I think what we're seeing is both sides playing with so much width. 4 quick passes from one side of the field to the left. Reina in again in the corner. Both sides making the wingers stand just inside the sidelines, so they're attacking with full width and having to force their opponents to try and defend. At present, Reina's attack came out on top.
Wonderful try from Gareth Reina. Now can Danny Brough produce the kick off the touchline? Oh, just off the post. 20 points to 12. I'm with Steve O'Phil. This is developing into a classic.
Well, we thought maybe there'd be a response from after. I mean, you're not going to see the Hull side lose here by more than 40 points on 2 consecutive matches. 46-0 when we were last here 2 weeks ago at St Helens. We imagined there'd be a response. Weren't quite sure it was going to be as impressive as this. But hey up, Leeds know they're in for a tough night now.
Kick-off is claimed by Motu Tony, and Peacock was the first to him.
The one thing I must say, and I have to praise the caretaker coach Richard Agar. I've noticed, especially midway through this game, the way that Hull have decided to keep all the heavy traffic away from the play-the-ball area. The linking qualities of the 2 halfbacks, Paul Cook and Richard Horne, has been nothing short of superb. Add to that the persuasive play of Richard Swain, and they are just playing wonderful, wonderful rugby league.
Mathers just allows the ball to bounce a couple more times before taking charge. Half-time at Nosey Road, and that's much closer than many people would have predicted. 10-6 to Saints.
It's amazing how the Harlequins, or formerly the London Broncos, always seem to pick up their performance against St Helens.
2 minutes to half-time here. Tony Smith's moved downstairs. An 8-point deficit at half-time. They've only really had 2 clear-cut opportunities, Leeds, haven't they? And can you call them clear-cut opportunities when Danny Maguire breaks the line the way he does? But they've scored the 2 tries. They're in the match. There's no doubt about that, Brian. This ain't over yet.
You look at what happened to Hull in relation to letting the kick bounce. It 5 fantastic defensive plays, let a kick bounce and embarrass them. What Danny Maguire did on the back of Jamie Peacock can happen any time. You'd have to say that Hull are winning the field position battle. They're playing at the right end of the field. I tell you what, they're chancing their arm with offloads and plays. When they've got half a break, they're compelling Leeds' problems by going for it. And you have to say that their confidence looks really, really high.
This is Reina. Half-time at the Willows, 24-12. Salford City Reds ahead. Here is Thackeray, running much stronger tonight. He's running in his 2005 mode, isn't he? Brough and Wheeldon and Horne, and quick hands to Radford.
Oh, it should have gone. They had the overlap there, 3-on-1.
This is the last tackle in this set of 6, and Domick hacks the ball towards the in-goal area. It's picked up by Scott Donald. Donald does brilliantly well.
It just never stops. End-to-end stuff. Beautiful kick through. Domick creating all sorts of problems. What do you think? We get into just half a minute before the half-time OT. You'd think they'd just shove it up the jumper, but nobody wants to do that.
Leeds are looking to score, aren't they? They looked on that first play, swinging it to the left wing, and they're going to come, I think, wide to the right here and chance it this side, Eddie.
We have 12 seconds remaining. It's with Burrow. It's Burrow who finds Gareth Ellis, and Gareth Ellis attacks the line.
Can he just get it play the ball? No, he won't.
No, he won't. The referee's right. What a first half. Wonderful first half of entertainment from these 2 sides, both hugely committed to the causes. It's 4 tries to 2 in Hull's favour, and they lead at the half-time break by 20 points to 12. 40 minutes to come. This is a great game.
If you can't be everywhere at once,
Wonderful try!
catch all 7 games from the NRL and Super League live live on Sky Sports. It's the only place to be this Easter.
A fantastic Easter programme live on Sky Sports, and this is the way it looks. Thursday night, whoa, Leeds against Bradford, 8 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Good Friday, Sydney Roosters against Brisbane, live, 10:30, Sky Sports 1, followed by Wigan and their trip to St Helens, 12:30, Sky Sports 1. Then on Saturday, Manly against St George Illawarra at 1 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. Easter Sunday, the Knights against the Cowboys, 12:30, Sky Sports Extra. It doesn't finish there. Monday, Tigers against the Wolves, 5:30, Sky Sports 1. And Tuesday, back at Bradford to round it all up, Bradford Huddersfield, 8 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Busy, busy Easter. Looking forward to it immensely. Some great games there. We're back in action here at the KC Stadium. Hull 20, Leeds 12 at the start of this second half. And do Leeds have the wherewithal to come back? Brian Noble, Steve-O, made the point at half-time. Maybe only once before this season at St Helens have they been in this position. Now then, they lost then. Can they come back and win this one?
If they play the way they did in the first half, and that's utilising the forwards for certain passages of play, and their ability to get that link in the three quarters completely mesmerised the Leeds defence. If they can do that, building confidence, it's so important that they do and handle this first 10 minutes. Leeds, of course, they didn't have much possession in the opposition half. They've got to make sure that their kicking game, which was extremely poor in the first 40 minutes, they've got to improve on that.
I'm reminded also, of course, that Leeds came back and won the match against Wigan as well this year. So they've been in the position a couple of times. They've won one, they've lost one.
Yeah, but the point is, and I must pose that to Phil Clark in regards to, they've lost their main kicker, Kevin Sinfield. It was not very good in that first stanza. And who is going to stand up? Brian Noble, who would you say will have to take the responsibility, and Leeds need someone to lead them out there?
Rob Burrow, he's a pretty decent kicker off the front foot. Danny Maguire does have a kicking game, and Shane Millard normally out of dummy half can kick pretty well. So those are the people they'll be looking to. A get out clause and really out the back if they need a two-pass plays. Richard Mather who can kick the ball.
This is Shane Millard now for the Leeds Rhinos, trailing here by 8 points, start of this second half. Mathers gets it to Maguire. Here is a match winner for Leeds. Oh, that ball
lost it. That went backwards.
It's a penalty. It was stolen.
I thought it had just juggled out. Richard Agar looking a little bit confused. He's a calm customer.
Definitely stripped out by Richard Horn.
Yep.
2 in 1. 2 on to 1 rather.
On the line, fellas. On the line.
So a penalty to Leeds that just might change the course of this match. We shall see. As Nick Scruton drives it in, plays the ball, and here is Jamie Peacock. And Peacock standing, eventually takes tackle number 2. Millard is there at dummy half, feeds it wide and finds Mathers. Mathers then to Lauatiti, who slips under the pressure from Yeeman. Mathers down the outside again, finds Willie Poaching, and Poaching is going to be taken to the sideline. Poaching is taken to the sideline.
Tremendous defence. Great enthusiasm. Coursing through the veins of this Hull side tonight.
You were further away from me.
And also the atmosphere that the Hull fans have created. Listen to them singing, "Come on, ye Hull."
Let's get an update, Steve, on the Kevin Sinfield injury news. Here's Bill.
Well, Eddie, it is looking better from the Leeds camp, apparently. Kevin Sinfield, it's not a knee injury. They think it's no break. It certainly is a serious lower leg injury, but not as serious as first feared. He's certainly not coming back out. Lee Smith won't be coming back out either. In fact, it's a bit sparse on that Leeds bench at the moment without those two, and I'm not sure exactly how fit Matt Diskin is. He was hobbling out of the dressing room after half-time, so Leeds possibly up against it numbers-wise.
Okay, so that's the news from the sideline, and Millard Leeds got the ball back in the strangest circumstance, but it's with Maguire, and now poaching, and Willie poaching, gets over the line, he can't get it down though. Magnificent Hull defence. Oh, he's giving a try! The referee, Carl Kirkpatrick, gives the try to Willie poaching, and he doesn't refer it on to Bob Connolly, the video referee. He was perfectly positioned. It looked as though he'd been held up on the line, the New Zealand and Western Samoan international. But Willie Poaching, who missed the cup tie last week but's been ever present in Super League, has scored a vital try.
Well, it was Thackeray that lost control of the football. Millard was quick to pounce on it, and from that position, and I'm not so sure that this really should have been given, it is very controversial. Poaching, wonderful move, and it looked to me as though Kirk Yeoman had done everything right. But as you said, Eddie, Carl Kirkpatrick, who's had a fine game, in a wonderful, wonderful position to see. I can't see it here. Can you see it there? Well, he's got it down. It took a while, it was bobbling all over, but it's TRY time. Can Burrow add the two? It's game on, either way.
Kick from Burrow, and he has kicked it, little Rob Burrow. You're right, game on, 20 points to 18. And there's the ball on the ground, there can be no doubts about that. And Mr. Kirkpatrick was very brave. Look where he was. Look where he was when that ball hit the ground. He came round and he gave the try.
You can't see what arm he's using to control the downward pressure of the ball on the floor, though, can you?
No,
because it seems as though Poaching's right arm is away from the ball.
Yep.
I tell you what, Bob Connolly, the video referee, will be breathing a sigh of relief. He didn't have to make the call.
It was going to be a big one, but let's not forget. Oh, that's going to be a penalty. Well, he's picked him up.
Well, it's fired Hull up, there's no doubt about that decision.
Let's not forget that the referee would have looked to his official on that far side, and the official obviously could see what the referee could not. He's given the nod, and he's given the 4 points. 5 points, should I say.
Let's go down to the sideline because Bill has got Shane McMenemy, one of the injured Hull players, with him.
Shane, I think there was some surprise, shall we say, among the Hull camp at that award.
Yeah, it's hard to see from here where we're sitting, but you know, you'd like to think that he did get the ball grounded, but we'll have to wait and see the replay of that when I get home.
Just so quick, briefly, where has this come from?
Oh, mate, I think it's always been there. It's just, you know, you could tell at training all week the boys are really up for it. You know, we're capable of playing well. We just obviously haven't, for whatever reason, we haven't been. But, you know, we're all very positive, and there's a lot more to come out of us, I would think.
Thanks.
No problem.
Well, it's been there all season, says Shane McMenemy, but it has really come to the fore this week.
And he was there last season. They were able to play well about once every 4 weeks, which helped them get through to the cup final and ultimately lift the trophy. But if you look in their dressing room, there's a sign on the wall that says, week in, week out, play like champions. Unfortunately, they've been unable to do that for the last year or so, even though we've seen it in the first 47 minutes. We need to see it for the rest of the season if they're really going to challenge this year.
And I honestly believe, Steve-O, that it was that level of inconsistency at Super League level that cost John Keir his job.
Well, that's what the club's saying, and perhaps it has, but from the display that the players have shown in this particular game, I mentioned, I'll say it again. Remember, I said they had to stand up and count it against St Helens. They lost 46-0, and that tells its own story. Take nothing away from anybody concerned at the club. Hull, the players, they have decided that they want to play, and it's been wonderful stuff.
But I tell you what, this match is a long way from being won. It can be a great performance. It could easily end up with another defeat. And here is Maguire who finds Senior, who finds Walker. It's stabbed forward, and the referee says it's a knock-on.
Well, they won't mind. It'll be the turnover there.
I think that was good skill from Walker. Has the referee missed it?
I think he has.
Well, Domick certainly took the ball over the whitewash.
On the line.
They won't mind because
On the line.
that's play on. Yeah, it should have been head and feet at the scrum. Well, another there by Carl Kirkpatrick, but that's perhaps about the first glaring one. No, he's given a penalty there, and Millard is claiming it was one-on-one. Getting a little bit fratchy out there. Oh no. Well, that he peeled off. Thackeray says we want the penalty, and they've got it. Well, the way this game was going, especially in the first half, it was tit for tat. We'll score one, you get one back.
34-10 at Wakefield. I just wonder whether the wheels will fall off again for the Wildcats. Here is Radford.
They've got to get a couple of completed sets of 6 now, Hull. They've got to make sure that if they're on the last and they force, make sure that they get it in that in-goal area and get a drop out.
They have a man on the overlap wide, and Motutoni flicks the ball back, but he was forced over the touchline by great Leeds defence. Well,
that's one thing that Hull didn't need. Just made the point. They wanted to just camp down there in the Leeds quarter. No doubt about it. Fullback definitely at his feet. A little bit of disgust on the face of the caretaker coach, Richard Agar. I say, he must feel very pleased with himself, Agar.
Eddie, when Hull have been in positions like this season, and my mind goes back to, I think it was a round 3 game against Warrington, pretty close early in the second half. Things went against them and they panicked, and the game then slipped fastly away from them. Again, we've seen them play here, things go against them. A sense of panic maybe invading the team. Now, whether there's a difference with Richard Swain back out there, things aren't going their way at the moment, but they need to maintain some patience and composure and carry on doing the things that they did in the first half that got them some success.
Millard waits for the Rhinos at dummy half, finds Burrow, he finds Poaching, and Poaching gets it to Ellis, but it's a welcoming committee in black and white that greets Gareth Ellis. Here's Lauatiti, there's the offload that is his trademark. Poaching with the kick down the line. Tony allows it to bounce and it skittles away from him again. Good chase. Good chase led by Nick Scruton, who was actually on loan for Hull against the Wildcats in the playoffs here. And I remember a night at Headingley that Nick Scruton actually, or was it here? Headingley, I think, he actually scored a try against the Leeds Rhinos, but they've never lost faith in him. Oh, now then, I think that was a one-on-one by Ryan Bailey.
Well, Ryan Bailey thought so, the official didn't. Well, what's wrong with this? Well, I can't see anything wrong with it. Can you?
No.
Tackle wasn't completed. Ball carrying arm nowhere near the deck.
And I don't think Tony Smith was convinced with the decision either. But his team now have to defend this wave of Hull attack. Great offload from Radford to Brough. And I think there's a blow for Hull here. Gareth Rayner, I think it is, coming off the field. He's being helped off by 2 as this attack builds with Richard Horn. Wonderful, wonderful try from Richard Horn. He scored 2 in defeat at Bradford last week. It was a monumental effort in the mud, and that was an absolute piece of priceless genius from Richard Horn. A terrific try. A debut for Hull at 16 against Leeds 7 years ago. Just watch this again.
Controversial decision. This is where the penalty was given against Bailey for stealing the ball off Ewan Dowes. And one thing that you must learn about this guy, don't go high. He's got great upper body strength. He showed that at Bradford last weekend, when he scored 2 tries and brushed off 2 forwards. On this occasion, he was 2 3/4. It doesn't matter. He's got the 4. That was a vital try. They know it as well. They're back in control of the black and whites. Super stuff. What a great pickup. What a good step. Get out of the way to the full back. They've gone absolutely crackers.
Danny Brough with the opportunity to add the extras, which she does with the left boot. It's 26 points to 18. Richard Horn with a telling contribution, maybe.
Well, let's have a look at this situation here now. Now, Feather's in there and Bailey's just helping, but he peels away from Feather, so that's all right. That is play on. He's made himself, and that should not have been a penalty. He has made a boo-boo, and it has cost Leeds a try against them. But what a game, Eddie. This is just fantastic stuff.
And some sensational skills we're seeing here from both sides. Brian Noble's been a bit quiet in this second half. You're just enjoying what you're seeing?
I still think it's a terrific game, and I thought Hull were giving themselves a hill to climb early on in this second half by giving a penalty away in their own half and then making an error and making another error here. That makes it difficult against a team like Leeds. They had a bit of a leg up with a couple of penalties, got down to the other end, and what about Richard Horne out of dummy half? He's so dangerous and strong. What a great run.
Boys.
Does your heart good as the Great Britain coach to see skills like we've seen tonight, I'm sure, from Horne, Maguire and company?
I think you'd have to say as well, Eddie, the fact is that Richard Horne last year was suffering through niggling injuries throughout, and I was critical throughout last year about him not asking the question, taking on the defence. He's done that of late, and he's certainly done that tonight. That was outstanding.
3 tackles gone this set of 6 for Leeds. They're 10 metres away, and Bailey flicks it back into the arms of the supporting player, who is Maguire. Brilliant, brilliant hands from Leeds. Strength from Walker. Oh, what about that? What about that? From Shed Walker. The basketball flicks the Harlem Globetrotter skills, and then the strength from Shed Walker. Absolutely magnificent try. The tries in this game, quite simply, just get better and better and better. Wonderful stuff.
And you'd like to say that the defence has been absolutely woeful, but it hasn't. They've just kept the ball alive. They've been testing their arm. Good stuff back on the inside. Look at this. Senior should have a go at that. There was numbers. There was 5 there. And Walker sneaks in at the corner. Talk about taking the chance. Oh, super stuff there. Feather put it on, and then Senior, watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too late, boys. He's in.
Well, physically, just far stronger than their opponents in the last 10 or 15 minutes. A mistake from Hull didn't help, and they can't afford Leeds opportunities tackling near their own try line. Important kick now from Burrow, right on the sideline.
Rob Burrow has kicked it off the touchline again. It's 26-24. The word classic is often used in sport generally and in Super League in particular. This is a classic.
It certainly is, and when you've got 6-1, you'd really upset a bookie, wouldn't you? No way he could score there. Oh, outstanding. I'm going to stand and clap both sides. Talk about value for money. And there's more to come. We're not even in the final quarter yet.
There is more to come, I'm sure of that. And here goes Senior. Tackle is not completed. He hands it on to Burrow. This is a very important part of the game for Hull. Just now, you feel. They've got to hang on to the Rhinos' shirt tails here.
That's very difficult in the final quarter of a game, as a lot of teams have found. Leeds, Eddie, in the last 20 minutes of games this season, scored 13, conceded just 2. Their strength becomes more apparent as the game grows.
They have a man on the overlap wide, and that man is Lee Smith, but they've covered up. Oh, hang on! Lee Smith! Oh, it's not Lee Smith, it's Scott Donald. Oh, Wakefield surely have that game in the bag. Here is Scruton.
Great scrambling defence by Hull. They need to be kicked to the corner. Is it too long? I think it is.
Yes, just too deep from Danny Maguire. Well, Tony Smith is, I'm sure, maybe a little bit more nervous than the rest of us, but I think he's enjoying this match as well. It's a terrific contest.
Well, not surprisingly, Hull are taking their time to take this tap on the 20.
Wait, fellas. Wait.
Harlequins are standing firm against St Helens. who have brushed all aside before them so far this year. It's a fascinating season. They lost 60-0 to Leeds 2 weeks ago. They are hanging on to St Helens by 4 points after an hour.
It's amazing. I know you and I get criticised because at the start of every Super League season we say it's getting bigger, it's getting better, but it is.
Do we care about the criticism? No. Let's go down to Bill on the sideline.
We saw Gareth Rayner coming off a short time ago for Hull FC. The word is it's a hamstring injury, and Rayner does have a bit of a history of injuries in that particular area, so that's ominous for Hull, and really are wounded on the Leeds bench. No sign of Matt Diskin coming back. Think he's carrying a knock, and of course Lee Smith and Kevin Sinfield can be counted out as well.
Thanks, Bill. I have to remember that Lee Smith is off the field. I'm sure he was there a minute ago when it was Scott Donald.
It was a good run for a man that's injured on the sideline, Eddie. And listen, the excitement of this is tremendous. I just can't remember a match where both sides have just given it absolutely everything.
Here's Scruton for the Rhinos. Millard. It's with Burrow. Short ball, poaching again with such strength. They're 10 metres away, Leeds, with Burrow. Here is Peacock, and Peacock steps, and Peacock nearly stretches the arm out. He's just held up on the last. There's Rob Burrow waiting at dummy half. He'll fire the ball back to Maguire. It'll go down the right channel then with Mathers. Mathers will stab the kick too deep.
Idea was good, far too much strength. Been a good move by the coach Tony Smith to bring this fella up from full-back every opportunity they've had in regards to attacking. And Kirkpatrick, the official, says, would you please get all those water carriers off and get themselves sorted out. Well, we're into the final quarter, and this is a big test for any side as to what have they got left in the tank.
Then go sort your blood out.
Blood bin problem.
Yes, it's for Lee. Yes, it's for the Hull player. Lee Radford comes off with blood coming off the nose. It's been that sort of night. Here's Tony. Oh, it's a bruiser as well as being scintillating in terms of skills.
Come on, come on.
I said before, you know, with a 26-24 scoreline, you'd say, oh, well, the defence must have been absolutely shocking, but it hasn't. OK, there's been a couple of occasions where they've gone high, especially with the fact when Richard Horne scored that lovely try in the second half, instead of going for the legs.
I'm not quite sure what Keith Senior was trying to do then. He almost used himself as a buffer to allow the fullback Richard Mathers to run the ball further forward, much to the displeasure of the Hull support. This is Peacock still, such strength.
Make it.
He's lifted his game as in his second half, realising that without the skipper, Kevin Sinfield is leading the way, and so is this fella.
Lautiti will get to his feet and plays the ball to Millard. That's the last tackle for Leeds.
Leeds look good, Eddie. The only thing that's let them down in the last 5 minutes is the kicks at the end of sets. Two going over the dead ball line, but this is a better one.
It's a belter from Rob Burrow.
He's taking it over.
He was so close, little Rob Burrow.
Well, it surprised me in the first half that Leeds did not attack this youngster here.
It's a goal line dropout.
Not much experience. Yeah, it certainly did, but not much experience there from Kirk Dixon. He's in a good position there. There's never any chance that anyone was going to score. But the official has got it right.
This tests your desire, doesn't it, Brian, here now? 63 minutes gone. Legs feel like jelly, and you've got one of the strongest teams in Super League about to run at you for a minute.
This really tests your desire, this really tests your resolve, this tests the fact that why do you want to be there. They've not helped themselves, Hull, by giving another penalty and an error where to get Leeds into this half, and the back-to-back set now with one a really strong, determined team that are running like they mean it as well with efforts like that. It's important that they keep their shape, Hull, don't jump out of the line as they're doing at the moment, and find that piece of resolve that you need in games like this.
Millard for Leeds, dummy half, finds Peacock, and Peacock gets it away to Millard again. He finds Burrow. They're lining up down the left-hand side. Burrow, though, going on his own up the middle. halted by tackle number 3. Millard's there, the dummy half. He's got Maguire, but Millard's going on his own. Hauled down by Danny Hill. There's Maguire. Maguire will fire the pass to Burrow, and Burrow will give it to Mathers, and Mathers...
Oh, he was looking for the second phase. It came too early in Ellis. Ellis overrun it. That would have been a certain try.
Here's Maguire. There's the kick, looking for the runners. Oh, a little bit of luck, and Shane Millard for the Rhinos gets the try.
That was no fluke, Eddie. He deliberately aimed for the post, and the pads that are square at the bottom there, they offer up a wonderful opportunity for it to just bounce your way.
Leeds hit the front here for the first time.
He certainly knew what he was doing. He takes a good look at the post, dinks it through. What a bounce. Well, Hull will be out on their feet. It's been such a wonderful effort. Sometimes lady luck goes against you. But there's an old saying, you know, when you get served a lemon, you sometimes got to squeeze out a smile sometimes, and Hull have got to come back and do it.
Well, it was the goal line dropout that put them in this position. Two things that strike you when you watch this Leeds side: the strength of the players and their skill. The last two kicks, we've seen one from Burrow, that one from Maguire, put into inch-perfect place, and the players with the skills to take advantage of it. Brilliant try, Shane Millard. And I reiterate the point I made, Eddie. As final quarter teams go, there isn't one pretty much better than these Leeds Rhinos.
Hull have performed heroically and have led for an hour. Rob Burrow has kicked them from all over the show and adds it from in front of the post this time. It's 30 points to 26.
Sheer precision, the kick into the corner, absolutely superb, and picked up with ease. It can be a cruel game at times, but he's worked hard in the second half, as this fella. You make your own luck sometimes.
Well, Shane Millard, his last appearance for Widnes was in a 20 points to 40 home defeat against Hull last July. He swapped Widnes for Leeds, and he has just come up with an absolutely invaluable try for the Rhinos. Here is Chev Walker. What do Hull have left in the tank?
Well, there's still plenty of time. They don't have to panic. That's been one of the major reasons that they were in command of this game for such long periods. Is the fact that they have controlled it, made sure that they haven't come up with many mistakes and errors.
Alawatiti with one of those characteristic offloads again, but that's the last tackle for Leeds as Scruton hits the deck. It's with Maguire now, and the kick downfield is going to be picked up by Richard Whiting. And Whiting gets only as far as Scott Donnell.
Good kick as well. They really have improved in that department. It was shocking in the first 40 from the Rhinos. And it just shows you how important it is for a coach to grab a side and just turn things around. And they've certainly done that. But they're not done yet, you know, Hull.
They aren't. This is Ewan Dowes on tackle number 4, and Richard Swain. Now it's Gareth Carvell. Good run, pumping the legs. Carvell with two on his back. Peacock and Bailey.
Maybe a chip over the top, something a bit different here. Oh, they won't do it with that sort of passing like that.
Danny Hill escaped, and Bruff's kick is charged down, and it's with Burrow.
Well, they got totally confused there, Hull.
Just lost the way a bit, didn't they? Good tackling, though, there by Whiting on Scott Donald again. Millard. Gareth Ellis. Oh, that was high. It was a high shot from Ewan Dowes.
Not the time to come up with this.
Would you go for 2 here?
No, pump it into the corner, I would. Get it straight into the corner, that's what they're doing. They want to shove in the sword, the coup de grace.
It's with poaching for Leeds. Just on for Nick Scruton.
Stand up.
And Millard. Bailey and Chris Feather.
2.
Millard again. Dummy half. Poaching. This time the whole defence stands firm. But for how long? It's with Burrow. It's back to Maguire. Space for Maguire. He finds Mathers. Mathers gives it to Senior. And Senior, oh, I can't believe it, he's going to score. He nearly did. How on earth did he stay in the field of play?
Great work from Richard Horne, grabbed Senior's arm, but they're in trouble here. They've got the overlap. Oh, he's blown it! He's blown it! They had 3-on-1 out to the right.
This is the last tackle, and Millard gets the ball away to Maguire, and Maguire stabs the ball in goal again. Work here for Dominic to do, he goes to ground. Well, Bailey had 3-4 men standing out wide, and that would have been curtains for Hull. As it is, Leeds get this repeat set.
Oh, he went for glory then. They had the numbers. Hull were really set up.
Look at this.
Look at this effort from Senior. It was only the wonderful work from Richard Horne that grabbed the ball-carrying arm, dragged it back. Can they hang on, Hull?
Well, here come Leeds again.
Ow, that is a determined run, Eddie.
It was
a long way from it, but that must hurt.
Burrow.
They're eager, they want to get on with it to the Rhinos. They're full of confidence now.
Here's Peacock.
You can see this whole defence, they're not coming up, they're hanging back, they're trying to see what Leeds are going to do.
Inside the last 10 minutes here, and Bailey with the pass to Maguire, and he just stops, changes direction, gives it to Lauatiti. Here's Lauatiti. There's the try for Lauatiti. Ali Lauatiti with all the strength in the world, and Hull have given their all, but will it be enough? Lauatiti with the try. He just would not be denied, the New Zealand international. Ali Lauatiti. He made his 60th appearance for the Rhinos in the Cup at Lee on Sunday, and he maybe has just destroyed the dreams of the Hull supporters of a famous victory tonight.
They just run out of numbers, Hull. They're very tired. You can see there they're struggling to get anywhere. Maguire teased with them. Back on the inside, went high. He had the power, he had the strength. It really is very difficult because the effort that Hull have performed tonight deserved at least a draw. Outstanding rugby league football from both sides, but it all counts in the final moments. We keep saying what's left in the tank, and it's quite obvious that the Rhinos are running stronger than the Hull outfit at the moment.
Second goal line dropout in less than 10 minutes. Second try. Just the power of the Leeds players evident here now in the closing stage of this match. A powerful player in Lauatiti. Could have one time almost ended up playing here for the Black and Whites. Ended up choosing to go to Leeds and has probably just sealed a win here for the Rhinos.
Well, it might be a win if Burrow can maintain his 100% record with the boot. He's kicked 4 from 4 with the captain Kevin Sinfield off. And this time he's just drifted it the wrong side of the post. So what's the score? 26 to Hull, 34 to the Leeds Rhinos. It's still within catching distance for the Black and Whites, but it'd be a big effort.
It certainly would, but you can see there how tired they are. Maguire was dancing around. There's 3 there. There's another one eventually going to get to him. And by that time, they've offloaded. Run out of numbers, went far too high. It's too big, it's too strong.
Short kick-off from Hull. They're looking for something from this, and they've got it back with Kirk Yeeman, and Yeeman, 7 minutes to go, 8 points the difference, and here comes Gareth Carvell.
Great option, took the short kick. They've come up trumps. That'll be a penalty.
Stolen. That was more than one in the tackle, and it was Willie poaching.
Certainly pulled it away. No chance for Gareth Carvel to hang on to that. Got to take the quick tap, get on with it, boys.
Richard Swain does exactly that. Here is Ewan Dowes.
Are we going to have the fairy tale ending?
It's with Danny Brough. Here's Richard Horne again. Flicks it back. There's no way through for Jamie Thackeray. Horne again, dummy half. Finds Danny Brough. Brough floats it longer inside to Cook. It goes wide to Richard Whiting.
Well, he's a man capable of doing that, isn't he? Paul Cook, superb long ball, missed out 4 of his players. Is it on again?
Great defence from Leeds, and Carvel halted once again. Richard Swain, less than 6 minutes to go. It's Richard Horne. Richard Horne! It could be a try! Oh, no!
He's lost it,
He's lost the ball.
He'll go to the screen on this one.
I think Jamie Thackeray has lost the ball.
The ball still.
Was it stolen? That's the question the referee's asking Bob Connolly, the video referee.
Does he get it down? No. He loses it.
Is it punched out by Maguire, Steve-O?
Well, it's going to be hard to see. It gets back to that situation. Are you involved in the tackle? Which Millard is.
Which is right hand.
Well, he's lost it. I mean, you've got to say that he's involved in the tackle. That's that new rule they brought in 2 years ago in regards that if you look as though you're attempting to tackle, they're looking to see whether Maguire, not about point, Phil, that you make.
But I think I'm wrong, Steve. I just think he loses possession there.
Yeah, he's lost it. He's lost control of it, Thackeray. Sadly.
Well, that's your view. It's not necessarily the view of Robert Connolly, who's having another look at this.
Well, he wants to see whether it has any influence on it. I think Maguire is not looking at the football. Well, this is going to be very interesting. He may have given himself away, you know, by the fact that he flicks the ball away with the right hand at the final moment. I'm going to go for no try.
Bob Connolly agrees, and it's a 20-metre restart for the Leeds Rhinos. Well, Jamie Thackeray nearly, so nearly, gave us a breathtaking last 5 minutes. We still might get it, who knows? Let's find out who's won the Man of the Match award. Dave?
It's been a high-quality match, lots of good individual performances, especially from Hull, Paul Cook, Richard Horne, Kurt Geeman. All players have caught the eye at various times. But a man we've gone for, not just for his 2 tries, but his all-round contribution. Such a complete standoff half these days, Danny Maguire.
So Danny Maguire is the man of the match here at the KC Stadium. And it's his 3rd Man of the Match award of the season. He was Man of the Match at Wigan and Harlequins as well. Here is Scruton for the Rhinos. On the last tackle.
We'd have to agree that Danny Maguire has been the game breaker. Produced the skills and the wonderful tries needed. Oh, that's a bad error.
Motu Tony just wasn't at the races then, as he tried to pick that ball out of the sky, and Leeds get another set of 6, and we know what has happened to them, and they've had 2 more of those this game.
I think they're just out on their feet.
There was no conviction from Tony then, was there?
No, he looks...
I think he's worn out.
I think they all are. He's disappointed, is Richard Agar, but I must say he must feel very, very proud of the way that he steered them and cajoled them into producing their best rugby league football I've seen for quite some time. OK, they played wonderful down in Cardiff.
Saints have beaten Harlequins 16-6. Wakefield have beaten Wigan 40-14. Still waiting for the other score from Salford, and of course we're still waiting for the final whistle here. And this is Lauatiti again. Wigan 2 points adrift at the foot of the table. And it's Lauatiti. And we will see on the Friday, top of the table taking on bottom. Saints against Wigan. Here is Rob Burrow. Now it's with Richard Mathers.
Will we see something extraordinary from Maguire or Burrow?
Well, here is Burrow. And that could be another set of 6. Oh, the referee says still the last. Good defence. Jamie Peacock could not get the ball away because little Danny Brough was all over him.
Well, Maguire was in an offside position anyway. Certainly wouldn't have been a try if it had ricocheted through, and the standoff would have gone in for the try underneath the post. Now, what have they got left in the tank? I think they know that they're running out of time. They've just got to chance it, and that's something that they can be proud of. They've done that throughout this game. Outstanding rugby league football.
Magnificent win for Salford, 36-18 against Huddersfield. They are going well. Carl Harrison, his men are secure in that top 6, in that top 4.
And the amazing thing is, a lot of fans are saying, when's the bubble going to burst? It looks pretty strong to me.
Nice kick from Paul Cook. Oh, and it bounced all over the show. And Richard Whiting gets hold of the ball for Hull. And here is Cook again. This is the last tackle. They're running it with Richard Horn. It comes wide to Danny Brough. And Brough, I think he's got that.
He's short.
Well, the referee wants to check it because Danny Brough is celebrating.
Well, he may well celebrate, but he's short. Oh, now then.
No, it didn't touch the ground.
I think he's got the arm underneath it. I thought it was short, but maybe not. Now then, watch Maguire's hand.
Ball's never down.
Fantastic stuff from Maguire. No try. Well, isn't it amazing? Thackeray had one turn down. And now Danny Brough will have the same. N-O-T-R-Y. It's sad. But take nothing away from the man of the match, Danny Maguire. Super stuff.
Twice over the line, twice denied by the referee. They got the one, of course, when Sid Dommick's effort was handed on to Bob Connolly for the judgment. It's the turnover. We're entering the last minute. Hull desperate for the possession, but the match, I'm afraid, has gone. Here is Walker. A lateral run from Walker. He gets the ball away to Gareth Ellis. And Leeds, I thought they were going to strike from deep. Here is Millard. They might yet. Here is Peacock. Motutoni has dropped back, just in case there's a chip over the top. But it's with Scruton on the last. I think Leeds will settle for the 8-point victory.
Not so sure. Will they go for the corner? Yeah, they're going to put it right in.
Just winds the clock down towards the full-time siren.
Do you know, Eddie, if my memory serves me right, I think it's the 4th time this season they've won a game by 8 points. In those tough games, they've just got the character to hang on in there, do enough to come up with a win against a very determined Hull outfit.
Well, the referee's called time off because Hull were at the scrum, Leeds were loitering. So this is the last throw of the dice for the black and white. Kick for everyone to chase. It's all about the bounce of the ball now. And Mathers goes to ground in the in-goal area. There won't be time for the goal line dropout. It's all over. And Leeds have won. And Hull's misery continues. But you have to take your hats off to this Leeds Rhinos outfit. Hull battled and battled for an hour. But despite the fact that they produced arguably some of their best rugby league of the year, they have still come up empty. It's Hull 26, Leeds 34.
Lads, nice one, mate.
With smoothness and flavour, Tetleys don't do things by half.
Well, we've seen a fantastic game here at the KC Stadium. Leeds have won it 34 points to 26. We're going to hear from a rejuvenated Richard Swain, the Hull captain, in a moment. But first, tonight's man of the match from the Leeds Rhinos, Danny Maguire.
Danny, congratulations on another man of the match, your third already this season. I bet that tackle on Danny Brough at the end was just as pleasing as 2 tries, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely so. One try and, they're back in it then at the end of the game, so it's very pleasing. Pride herself on his defence, so it was nice to keep that one out, and massive effort from the lads, down to 1 sub in that second half, and showed a lot of character, and that's what you need to do to compete in this league.
You had to dig yourselves out of a bit of a hole, didn't you?
Yeah, definitely. Hull started off great. They played some great football in that first half, and really troubled us. And we had, like I say, we had to dig deep and show a lot of character. But the boys stuck at it.
Thanks, Danny. Well done again.
Cheers.
Richard Swain is the Hull captain, and I should imagine a captain that's proud of a team effort. Richard.
Yeah, proud but disappointed. We made 3 errors in that second half, and they scored off 3 times. Just shows, you've got to stick in the arm wrestle, and we didn't do it in the second half. And full credit to them; they're a great team, and they capitalised.
And you got over the line twice in that second half as well. You had the chances.
Yeah, very disappointing. Very disappointing. We, let them off the line. I think. Just those 3 mistakes.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Cheers.